meeting to order. First, I'd like to ask if you have cell phones that you please turn them off or put them on silent. And also, if the council will remember to speak into the microphone so that they can hear them in the audience. Can you hear me? Okay, good. Thank you. Mr. Crittenden, Joe Crittenden from Adair County, would you give the invocation, please?
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, I want to take pause this evening to thank you for this day of life, this opportunity to do the best we can for the people we serve. Father, I pray that you will bless those in our audience this evening, the visitors and the staff that are here. Thank you for the traveling grace, and we'd ask that you'd bless us with traveling grace on our way homes. Help us as a council to do the work this evening that's before us, and do it in unison and in one accord if possible. Father, I pray for all of those in our 14 counties that are in need of help, and Father, help us be willing to help them. Thank you for this great country, this state, these counties we represent, and for our tribe. Ask your blessings on our leaders, and Father, help us to do what's right by our people. I would utter a prayer this evening for those that are standing in harm's way all over the world. And Father, only you can protect them. And I would ask, Father, that you do that. Go with us now, help us do good work, and forgive us where we fail. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Crittenden. Roll call, Ms. Miller.
Bill Anglin.
Here.
John Baker.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Harley Buzzard.
Here.
Julia Coates. Here. Brad Cobb.
Here.
Joe Crittenden.
Here.
Jody Fishinghawk. Here. Meredith Fraley.
Here.
Janelle Fulbright. Here. Don Garvin.
Honey.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.
Here.
Connie Glory Jordan. Present. Curtis Snell.
Here.
Chris Soap.
Aye.
David Thornton.
Present.
Carol County Watt.
We have a quorum. Next item is approval of the minutes of the August 13 regular session meeting. I'd entertain a motion. Yes, Mr. Anglin.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion on the August 13 minutes? All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Mr. Baker.
Madam Chairman, at this time, I'd like to move to amend this agenda to add a line number 19 that would allow us to approve the 08 budget at a reconvened meeting.
Second. Moved and second. Any discussion on the amendment? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Mr. Baker, continue.
Madam Chairman, I'd also at this time like to withdraw item number 4. That made it through committee, but it'll come next month.
Right. Do I have a second to withdraw item number 4 that was tabled in committee? Moved and second. Any discussion on the withdrawal?
Just recess.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you, Mr. Baker. So the motion is to amend the agenda, and we've done that by doing both items. So the agenda is amended. At this time, our next order of business is State of the Nation. Principal Chief Chad Smith.
Well, welcome. We're here on September 10th, 2007 for the first session of our new term with our new council. It goes to remind me that in old times there's a story that at the beginning, everything had a beginning and an end. And at one season, all the people came together and they put out their fires of their household, fires of their villages, and came together from one fire began anew. And that's where we're at with this term, beginning anew, to work for our people, to look for common ways that we can increase the quality of life for our people and for our descendants. So it's an exciting time, and I'm very pleased that we're all here together. We had a great national holiday. I want to express my personal appreciation to all the employees and other volunteers who made it a wonderful experience for all of our visitors and our people. But now let's pay our respects to those who passed from this life this last month. Many of you know of Ed Bighorse. He was a longtime employee, career services, and worked with our fire dances in Otero. He died very young. He was in his 40s. Everybody who had met him remembered him because he had this smile. It was a disarming smile. And every time he came in your presence, you felt a bit better. He passed on this last month. And Thomas Portkiller, I'm sure there are others of our community and family and friends that have passed on. So at this time, let's have a moment of silence for them. Well done. During the national holiday, we paid tribute to our Cherokee Color Guard. It was a moving ceremony. It was just a small gesture of our appreciation to all of our Cherokee veterans, and it was moving. When our veterans, our Color Guard, came forward, the crowd jumped spontaneously to their feet and gave a long, well-deserved round of applause. But we also honor our veterans every month at the Tribal Council meeting, as tonight. And tonight we honor a father and son. Our first military service honoree is Charles Bud Carey, born in 1926 in Shady Grove, Oklahoma, to Jim Carey and Nora Alexander Carey. He attended Lost City, Hulbert, and Sequoia High School. Charles enlisted in the United States Navy in February of 1944. He was sent to Idaho for basic training. From there, he went to Washington State, where he was assigned to the USS Admiralty Islands. He was assigned to a small aircraft carrier that transported planes to the islands in the Pacific. His job was in the boiler room. But during general quarters and battle station, he was on the fantail where the 5-inch gun was. He passed 5-inch shells to the gun crew. Every morning before his light, he was on general quarters. Charles took part in combat in Iwo Jima and Okinawa, Japan. Charles was honorably discharged from active duty in 1946. He received the Honorable Discharge Medal, the Campaign Medal with 2 stars, and a Plank Owner Certificate. But is retired now from working in a machine shop. He was 81 on his last birthday. Mr. Carey, will you come forward and let us recognize you, sir? Would you care to say a word?
Thank y'all. Okay?
I think he literally took me when I said a word. Our second military honoree is the son of Charles Carey, Sammy James Carey, born in 1953 at Claremont Indian Hospital. Sam attended Owasso High School, and he enlisted in the United States Army in 1972, his senior year. After graduation, Sam left on active duty. He received military in Missouri, Louisiana, and Georgia. From there, Sam was stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. His unit was the 2nd Battalion, Infantry Company C, 82nd Airborne Division, and was honorably discharged in June of 1975. Sam joined the Oklahoma National Guard, 1st Battalion, 279th Infantry, 45th Infantry Brigade in Tulsa in 1983. From there, he went on to the 1st Battalion in Oklahoma City and then changed over to the Army Reserve in Oklahoma City, where his military service ended in 2001 with 21 years, 3 months of dedication to the military. He received many medals and awards, among Them were the Parachute Badge, Expert Infantry Badge, and National Defense Medals, Army Achievement Medals, Reserve Component Overseas Training Ribbon. He now resides in Hobart, Oklahoma. Sir, would you come forward and let us recognize you and express our appreciation for your service?
I'm not going to pin this on you because I might stick you with it, okay? I'm just going to hand it to you.
All right.
But thank you for your service.
Mhm.
It's an honor and pleasure to present you with that medal, sir.
Yes, sir. Few words.
Thank you for the Cherokee Nation for honoring all vets, and appreciate this.
He judged that he was the original plank owner, but he caused plenty of that.
In terms of announcement, if any Cherokee youth are interested in serving our youth council, member districts 5 through 7, they may contact Reba Bruner here at the tribe for an application. Deadline is September 21st. I would like to briefly explain what happened last week with the HOSDA funding bill. Congressman Watt from North Carolina introduced an amendment to the authorization bill that would remove Cherokee Nation funds, housing funds, because he disagrees with the constitutional amendment that the Cherokee passed on May 3rd, stating that we should remain as an Indian tribe made up of Indians. As you know, this issue is currently before 3 separate courts. Congressman Dan Boren supports the judicial system. He introduced another amendment which assured continued housing funding for the Cherokee Nation while the case is pending in tribal court. Our tribal court issued a stay some period of time. If you would like any information on these issues of sovereignty, citizenship, and the freedmen, feel free to contact our Washington office, and we have an 800 number, or look up their address on our website at CherokeeVoice.com. We also have information online at Cherokee.org. I would like to introduce nominees tonight for cabinet appointments and Supreme Court appointments. Melanie Knight is nominated as her second term as Secretary of State. I think everybody on the council knows her, understands her great service and dedication and proficiency to the Cherokee Nation. Kelly Ketcher as treasurer, and she has been in that position. This is her second appointment, and she served us well and strong in maintaining the financial integrity of the Cherokee Nation. And I nominate Troy Wayne Poteet for the Supreme Court, and he brings to our court phenomenal history, understanding, research, and understanding of our treaties and background. At last month, we acknowledged Kathy Sierra for achieving her master's level proficiency in the Cherokee language. She was unable to be here then, but she's with us tonight. But before I ask her to stand, I'm not sure if we really understand how significant this is. There's a number of levels in our proficiency ratings with our language. And a master's level is not only fluent to speak, but fluent to read and fluent to write. She is one of those leaders in our language reimmersion effort, and she has provided that leadership outstanding. But before I ask you to stand, I want to read one other thing. She'd carry that leadership on to her children and her grandchildren. And her daughter, Jessica Hartreader, sent a letter out last week, and it deals with the holiday, but it really deals with the passion and pride we have in our language. And let me read you this letter. Sometimes in the midst of everyday chaos, we tend to get wrapped up in all the little details of life. We tend to focus on the particulars, which isn't a bad thing, but once in a while we need something to drag us back to the main focus. On Saturday, when my family and I were visiting the Heritage Center, I was completely humbled by such an experience. We were going from booth to booth, admiring the many different styles of artwork. Like most mothers there, I was nervous about my 2-year-old knocking over some table and destroying the most expensive item there. Toward the end of the visit, being thankful that our tour had went about well without a hitch, Alana came to a booth that was selling hollowed-out gourds. Of course, she goes to the biggest gourd, and she starts immediately reading the Cherokee writing that was so beautifully written on it. Taken for granted my daughter can read in Cherokee, it was almost an immediate response to tell her to put the gourd down, but something stopped me. As I looked up, a small, frail elder held up her hand to me, and it was then that I noticed she was crying. She then moved her hand from the air and placed it over her heart. She started speaking in Cherokee to my daughter and said that she had been praying for our language. She cupped my daughter's face in her hands, and they were looking eye to eye for what seemed like several moments, but in actuality was only a few seconds. She said nothing, and my daughter, who on most occasions is scared of her own shadow, was completely trusting to this elder. The elder who mesmerized me so much that I didn't even think to get her name, kissed my daughter on her forehead and told her that she knew now that her prayers were answered, and she knew our language was going to survive. Realizing that I was holding my breath, I looked around to see that I was not the only one with tears. Those few other strangers who witnessed this tranquil moment of wisdom pass from one generation to the next had tears in their eyes as well. I wanted to pass on this special moment to the other parents whose children are in the Children Cherokee Immersion School. Some can say that our children are sacrificing a lot to go to school here, but think of what they're gaining at the end of the road. I truly believe that our children are leaders. And also thank you to those individuals who made this Cherokee National Holiday a successful event. Thank you for your time and all of your hard work. Isn't that something? So let me end there that things are going well in the Cherokee Nation. And we always can tell by the football team. Sequoia's now 2-0. They've got a great season in front of them. Enthusiasm's high, and we're looking forward to this new season. Not only at Sequoia, but with our council. Excuse me? Oh, I'm sorry. Kathy, will you stand up? Kathy, Sarah, stand up.
Thank you, Chief Smith. Next order of business is action of unfinished business. There's none pending, so we'll move on down to committee reports. The first report is Mr. Sutherland and from Housing Authority. Good evening, Mr. Sutherland.
Good evening. Have a brief report this evening. Our September board meeting that was scheduled for the 18th has been rescheduled for the 12th. We have a couple of commissioners that's going to be out of town, and in order to get a quorum, we had to move that to the 12th. The meeting, as always, is, well, not always, but normally it's held at the Allen Hogner Conference Room at the Administration Building. It's at 5:30. Tonight I want to talk a little about our programs. Got a lot of new folks and new faces, and slowly educate everyone on what we do. Our Community Shield program continues to do very well. Community Shield is a home ownership coverage that provides up to $80,000 replacement cost coverage on the dwelling and $10,000 personal property coverage. It's real affordable. We have just under 2,200 families on that program. We have a little over 2,000 families currently in home ownership programs. Those are homes that were developed through mutual help. And subsequent to that, the HOSDA program. And some of the homes are mortgages that we developed with Title VI guaranteed loan. Excuse me. We have 923 rental units available. With those, approximately 90% occupied. We'll serve about 1,700 families this fiscal year with rental assistance. At tomorrow's committee meeting, I'll hand out some information on those programs to you all, along with some contact information for your local office, and some housing applications and applications for the Community Shield program. As of today, we have 170 employees. 97% of those are Native Americans. That's my report for the evening. If anyone has any questions, I'll sure try to answer.
Any questions, comments for Mr. Sutherland? Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Next report is Cherokee Nation Enterprises. I see Mr. Slayton is here for David Stewart.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, council.
Good evening.
Our reports for the month of July. It was a strong month financially. Our year-over-year results continue to improve. We experienced about a 15 to 20% increase over July of last year. We, from time to time, help sponsor various events and things, and we're proud to help with those. We were proud of the Cherokee holiday and all the success and the hard work that went out with all of the employees, like Chief Smith said. Some of our people also helped with that, and we encouraged them to do that, and we're proud of them for their volunteering their efforts. I see Gina Elia here, and Gina is a big part of that for us, helping coordinate things, and she does a great job for all the interaction between the nation and C&E. The expansion projects continue on. We're about to start seeing steel come out of the ground at both West Siloam and at Catoosa. West Siloam is scheduled for the middle of October for the first steel to be erected there, and Catoosa is scheduled for November 15th. So a lot of work going on with foundation and site work there, but you should start seeing those projects take shape as they come out of the ground. Our current employment is 3,200 at the end of July. 71% is Native American and 58% were Cherokee. We continue to work to try to improve those numbers. And that's all I have tonight. I'd be happy to answer any questions if there are some.
Any questions or comments for Mr. Slayton? Thank you.
Thank you.
Dennis McLemore is going to be reporting for Cherokee Nation Industries. Good evening, Mr. McLemore.
Good evening, Speaker. Good evening, Council. We're transitioning our year into to match the Cherokee Nations and the other tribal entities. Previously, we had a year end of June 30th, and now we have a year end of September the 30th. So we're kind of have a long. We're going to have a 15-month year, but those numbers for July, we had $9.3 million worth of sales, and which is about a 10% increase over the prior July. And currently, we're remodeling the old Walmart site there in Stillwell, and we're going to be moving some of the manufacturing we have in the older facility up there. It'll probably be in the spring sometime, but that remodeling is going on right now. Currently, we have 230 employees locally. About 90% of them are Native American. Our next board meeting will be on September the 24th, which is a Monday. That'll be at 3 o'clock. We haven't really determined the location. It's kind of gone back and forth. We believe that we will be having that in Tulsa, though. And that concludes my report.
Any questions, comments from Mr. McLemore? You did good.
Thank you.
Cherokee Nation Business, Brad Carson. Good evening, Mr. Carson.
Good evening, Madam Speaker. As I mentioned during last month's report, this is the culmination of the budget season for C&B. We are now the sole shareholder of Cherokee Nation Enterprises and Cherokee Nation Industries. And after working through some bureaucratic hurdles with the Small Business Administration, we'll be the sole shareholder of the other companies affiliated with Cherokee Nation Industries, like Cherokee Nation Distributors and Cherokee Nation Medical Services. Of course, we are solely owned by the Cherokee Nation. As we do this global budgeting for all of the enterprises, there will be a number of things that you see that CNB brings before the Rules Committee and the E&F Committee, hopefully at the end of this month. Things I've already spoken to the Speaker about and to some of our advisory board members out of Cherokee Nation businesses. And so there will be a number of things I think you see from Cherokee Nation businesses coming forward. In brief sum, as you know, we provide 7 shared services. I believe we provide those effectively and efficiently. Metrics suggest that we have, as an example, when it comes to our legal services for similarly sized companies, only about one-half the expense that one might expect. We're going to provide about $4 million worth of shared services to C&E over the upcoming year, and about $500,000 worth of shared services to Cherokee Nation Industries. Of course, in addition to providing those shared services, we are responsible for diversification and capital allocation. As Mr. Slayton said, there are a number of ambitious capital projects on the plate, from West Island Springs to Roland to a number of other ones, trying to bring reason to that very complicated process over the next 3 years. Has occupied much of our time, and hopefully at the end of the month at those committee meetings you'll hear us talk about where we expect the dividends to the nation to be over the next 3 to 5 years, and also what the borrowing needs for the nation will be if we're going to do all of the things we'd like to do at C&B, CNI, and C&E. And so these are a number of difficult presentations that we're working on to present to you. As I mentioned, diversification is the other part of what we're trying to do. We're looking at more than 20 different opportunities right now. We have a great business development team that we're hoping to augment with some key people too. And as always, we have the bulk of our employees are Native American. We have 47 authorized positions. We have 46 of those currently filled, and about 2/3 of those are Cherokee. So we're very proud of that. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions, comments? Mr. Carson? It's not. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Next order of business is old business, or none being none pending, we'll move to new business. And the first is the resolution authorizing the environmental group to submit a grant application to the EPA. Mr. Snell.
If the council agrees. I request that tribal council approve items 1, 2, and 3 in total as they are grant applications to the EPA and were unanimously approved in the committee.
Any objections to his presenting 1, 2, and 3? Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the presentation? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We have Mr. Snell.
Number 1, the resolution authorizing a grant application for $79,500 to the EPA Hazardous Waste Management Project to remove household pollutants in Cherokee communities. No match funds required. Resolution 2, authorizing a grant request for $50,000 to the EPA for conducting a pesticide assessment on streams within the nation. No match required. Resolution 3, authorizing a grant request for $100,000 to the EPA for remediation of lead-based paint and asbestos from the Markhoma properties and lead-based paint from the interior of the Salina Courthouse. There's a 20% match, which will be met by the Markhoma escrow account, and a match waiver is requested for the Salina Courthouse. I move that we approve these items 1, 2, and 3 in total.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you, Mr. Snell. Item 4 was withdrawn, so moving on to item 5. It's a resolution authorizing participation in the statewide early childhood pilot project. Councilor Buzzard.
Madam Chair, I make that in the form of a motion.
Do I have a second? Moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 6 is a resolution confirming the appointment of Callie Marie Ketcher as treasurer of Cherokee Nation.
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this confirmation? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Ms. Ketcher here? Do you want to say a word or two? Just one or two now.
I just want to say thank you to the council for the confirmation, and it's a privilege and honor to serve the Cherokee Nation.
Thank you. Item number 7 is a resolution confirming the appointment of Melanie Knight as Secretary of State of the Cherokee Nation. Ms. Knight, do I have a motion for Ms. Knight?
I'll move.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Ms. Knight, would you like to say a few words? Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd just like to say thank you very much for your confidence in me, and I hope to fulfill your expectations. Forward to working with you this term. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 8 is a resolution confirming the nomination of Troy Wayne Poteet as the Justice of Cherokee Nation Supreme Court. Do I have a motion?
Madam Speaker,
Yes.
I'd like to move for the approval of Troy Wayne for this job. I think he's an outstanding individual.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Moved in second. Now, continue,
I'd
Mr.
like to
Garber.
be the sponsor, and Council Lady Janelle Fulbright would like to co-sponsor. But anyway, if you know Troy, you know he's an outstanding person. He's from my district, close to Janelle's, and we've known him many years, and he always has a big smile on his face, and I think he'll be able to convince the other 4 people to go his way, and he's that kind of person, and I strongly support him.
Any other discussion? Yes.
Thank you,
Mr.
Madam
Hoskin?
Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I agree with many of the things Councilor Garvin said, but Madam Speaker, I oppose Mr. Poteet's nomination. I want to state for the record that my opposition is not an opposition to Mr. Poteet the man. It's to Mr. Poteet the nominee. Each time I've come into contact with Troy Wayne Poteet, dating back to about 1995 when my father held this seat, he's always treated me with respect, and he's a very courteous gentleman, and I think those qualities will serve him well in the court. I know that his nomination is not in doubt. But I do have serious reservations about his nomination. The record below us at committee reflects that he has extensive background, Madam Speaker, in the area of study and preservation of history, and I think those are important things to bring to bear to any part of government. But we're talking about the highest court in this great nation, and I think that service on that court requires someone who has dedicated his or her life to the study and practice of law. I think that Mr. Poteet is a developing attorney. He and I share that in common. Mr. Poteet and I haven't been out of law school that long. I don't think that someone who's lean on years of legal practice is necessarily disqualified, Madam Speaker, from serving on the court. But I think if the chief is going to nominate someone who is, as I say, lean on years of service, they ought to demonstrate that they have engaged in the pursuit of great study, great teaching perhaps, great speaking on the constitutional issues that our court faces. There is, I think, a significant burden to bear if you come with only a handful of years of legal practice, as Mr. Poteet does. Mr. Poteet may yet someday, in my opinion, be ready to serve on the highest court in our land, but I just do not think at this point in his career he is ready. At least it has not been demonstrated to me that he is ready. We have a large nation. We have a very diverse nation. We have a large pool of practicing attorneys and law professors from which to draw, but the administration has nominated a man who, again, has a handful of years of experience in the practice of law, has not demonstrated a pursuit of study or teaching or speaking on the great legal issues of the day. I think the record below us reflects that he has not practiced before the courts of our great nation. I think the record below reflects that he has not engaged in a pursuit of the study of the body of law that he wishes to interpret on our high court. And I think the totality of his experience is not yet at the level worthy of service on our court. Having said that, I understand that his nomination is not in doubt, and I hope that in the end of his first term on the court that I am wrong. I hope that I'm proven wrong. I hope I'm brought back into these chambers and told you were wrong about Mr. Poteet, because nothing will please me more. I care very great deal about our court. I think it's serious business. I hope that Mr. Poteet rises to the occasion and excels, but I do have serious reservations about his nomination. For that reason, I will oppose his nomination. I also have some concerns about the level of scrutiny that this council has given to Mr. Poteet's record. I certainly think that service on this highest court in our nation, our great nation, deserves more scrutiny than the council has given it. With that, I appreciate it, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Ms. Watts?
I'll yield to the co-sponsor and I'll go after Janelle if that's
all right.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to differ with Mr. Hoskins. Being much older and having more experience, I don't think a requirement should be the experience that he has served as a judge. I think the greatest requirement is that he understand Cherokee history and the value of our treaties. I've known Mr. Poteet for many years, and I think he brings this experience to the court. I also feel that it would have been great if we had previously had someone serving on the council, on the court with his experience, and I'm definitely for him.
Ms. Watts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Although I am not a lawyer and I may not value some of the same aspects of the judicial system, having practiced law, which of course I haven't, I know from my experiences sitting on this council for the past 4 years, and in addition to reviewing past court cases prior to my first term in office, I feel strongly that Troy Wayne Poteet has the experiences and the skill sets that would qualify him to serve on our Supreme Court and make all Cherokees proud of the service that he would provide for the next 15 years. One example of this is when you do interview for corporations, you talk about behavioral interviewing. Well, I've worked firsthand with Troy Wayne Poteet on critical issues that we face out there in the world on sovereignty, such as the fake tribes that are pervasive now with all their Cherokee princesses. And Troy is there side by side, or has been. Now he won't be able to, hopefully after this evening's vote. But he has written critical briefs that attorney generals from other states have accepted. He's written those critical letters that then contain Chief Smith's signature. He has done those things, and from reading someone I look to as an example, a great example of one of our Supreme Court justices is Philip Biles from Rogers County, who this body did not see fit in reappointing at one point. And he's extremely qualified. But when I look to him as an example of the standard for a Supreme Court justice for the Cherokee Nation, I feel very confident that Troy Wayne Poteet meets that standard and will make us very proud over the next 15 years. And I look forward to him serving us on that Supreme Court, because that body keeps us in check, the administration or the executive branch and the legislative branch. And I know that this gentleman has both the constitutional law and the law of the state of Oklahoma and other laws, as well as the history which is required for proper context in a Supreme Court. Not just the willy-nilly decisions that I've seen possibly in the past 4 years from some of the court decisions, which obviously that means I disagree with them. But I think that they will Troy Wayne Petit will serve and make us proud this next 15 years and make rational decisions based on law in the proper context of our Constitution and the history of the Cherokee Nation. So I'm proud to support Troy Wayne Petit this evening. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes. Ms. Jordan?
With all due respect to Mr. Poteet, because I have nothing against him personally, and if I were here with a nomination before me dealing with a historian, he'd certainly be one of the choices that I would look at. But my understanding of us sitting here tonight, confirming these nominations, is that we should be looking at it from the point, is this the best that we can get in terms of experience and background, given the membership that we have. We literally have hundreds of Cherokee lawyers that could possibly sit for this position. Troy has 4 years of limited experience, none as a judge. He freely admitted in our committee meetings that he'd never even practiced before our Supreme Court, nor had he read any of their decisions. Those are thin credentials at best, if not non-existent. So I, too, will have to oppose his nomination, not of him personally, but of his credentials that he brings to this position.
Thank you, Ms. Jordan. Any other comments?
Madam Chair, I call for the question.
Question's been called. All in favor of the nomination of Troy Wayne Petit as Justice of the Supreme Court signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
No.
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Bill England,
Yes.
Yes is, I'm sorry, yes means you support his nomination.
Bill John Baker,
No.
Jack Baker,
Yes.
Harley Buzzard,
Yes.
Julia Coates,
Yes.
Brad Cobb,
Yes.
Joe Crittenden,
No.
Jody Fishinghawk,
No.
Meredith Fraley,
Yes.
Janelle Fulbright,
Yes.
Don Garvin,
Yes.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.,
No.
Tanya Lori Jordan,
No.
Curtis Snell,
Yes.
Chris Soap,
Yes.
David Thornton,
Yes.
Carrie Cowan Watts.
Yes.
12 yea.
12 yes and 5 no. Congratulations, Mr. Petit. Would you like to say a few words? Very few?
I thank you. I thank you for your confidence and the opportunity to serve in the third branch of government. I should never have thought that I would have this opportunity. I appreciate the courtesy of the people who were not in support of my nomination, and I appreciate your kind words. My prayer will be that I do this job with dignity and in a way that honors the ancestors and the sacrifices that they made so that we could fully revive this government. And I would ask that all of you, that your prayer be with me also. I look forward to serving. I thank you.
Next is item number 9 is confirming the renomination of Robert Jenkins to the Cherokee Nation Tax Commission. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion on this nomination? Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
No.
One. Kind of. And Jody? Okay. Item 10 is a resolution confirming the renomination of, and that should be Mark Frederick Green. His last name was omitted.
Chair, I move for the approval of Mark.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion on Mark Green to the Environmental Protection Commission? All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 11 is an act amending Title 28, our ethics legislation, and repealing certain sections of the code. Dr. Cobb, is you sponsoring that?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Excuse me. The purpose of this act is to codify the issues relating to conflicts of interest pertaining to employees and appointed and elected officials of the Cherokee Nation, use of businesses owned wholly or partially by Cherokee Nation employees and appointed and elected officials, and employment of relatives of elected officials. I would like to add that there is possibly different to your handout, Title 28.3. There is a friendly amendment that strikes Cherokee National Historical Society Incorporated and adds any component units of the Cherokee Nation. You should have that in red on the new handout. That is a friendly amendment on the floor. Also on, where's my second one? 2810. This amendment in red was actually passed in committee and was accepted as a friendly amendment in committee. So I don't believe that needs to be on the floor, but I defer that.
Second.
Did you move to on that? And second, any discussion on this legislation?
Madam Speaker?
Yes, Mr. Hoskins, he's yielding to you. Mr. Baker?
Yes, I offer the friendly amendment on 28.3, paragraph F, striking the Cherokee National Historical Society, Inc., as the Cherokee National Historical Society is not owned or an entity of the Cherokee Nation. It actually predates the revitalization of the Cherokee Nation by several years. And for that purpose, I don't believe it should be included. And also in item J, that same section, that's Cherokee Heritage Center. The Cherokee National Historical Society, Inc. operates the Cherokee Heritage Center, so we should also strike the Cherokee Heritage Center in J. And offer that as the friendly amendment.
Under Section 3J, is that what you're saying? Okay. Is everyone clear on that?
Yes.
Okay, and is that all, Jack?
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Hoskin?
Yes, Madam Speaker, this goes to another act. Direct your attention, Madam Speaker, to section 11. Offer an amendment to section 11. Just for the record, I have some reservations about this entire piece of legislation, but consultation with some of the other counselors, I think that this paragraph will go some ways towards giving the Housing Authority some guidance concerning the ownership of property used by the Housing Authority. So directing your attention again to paragraph, it's 28, section 11. The original language at committee, there was a paragraph D, and Madam Speaker, I've got some rather lengthy language, which I suppose it's appropriate to read into the record so that for the amendment.
I'm sorry, was that 11?
I'm sorry.
Capital B?
D as in dog.
Or D? Yes, proceed, please.
Okay, I'm going to read into the record the original language with a slightly different version. Paragraph D would read, where an employee or official or their immediate family of the Cherokee Nation own property or housing that qualifies for programs provided by the HACN, there shall be no conflict of interest provided that the employee or elected official or their immediate family does not solicit the Cherokee Nation for participation, and it is determined that there is a qualified housing shortage in that particular area. No employee or official of the Cherokee Nation shall participate in any decision-making process concerning the HACN while participation in such Cherokee Nation Housing Authority program. And again, Madam Speaker, that language tracks the language from the version we considered at subcommittee. It does insert in two parts, or their immediate family, to perhaps broaden what it encompasses. And the purpose, really, Madam Speaker, is to give guidance to the government concerning Cherokee Nation employees who have land, who are dealing with Cherokee Nation Housing Authority. We discussed at committee the idea that there is a housing shortage in northeast Oklahoma, and whether we should be silent in this legislation about that, an exception, if you will, and rely on, I believe, the Department of Housing and Urban Development to make that determination. This paragraph would go a ways towards giving guidance to our government. And I'd offer that as an amendment to Councilor Cobb.
Dr. Cobb, he's offering that as a friendly amendment.
Can I?
Do you accept?
No, I do not. Is there a rebuttal of that, or do I?
Right ahead.
Thank you. It is, as a sponsor of this bill, it is my intent. The intent of this act is the laws as they're currently written are fairly ambiguous, and it's to strengthen the position of Cherokee Nation employees and their families to do business with Cherokee Nation employees and their families in the correct way. And that is the intent of this. And I have an opinion from the Attorney General, and several of the questions are answered roughly the same. What the Housing Authority needs, federal exemptions still apply. You have to apply for those federal exemptions whether we put this language in there or not. And my concern is that's essentially the Attorney General's opinion. There's a few things here with the State Attorney General, but it all basically comes down to whether we put this paragraph, this language in or not. Federal exemptions still need to be applied for. It doesn't matter. And my concern is if we put this language in here, we are giving the impression that our laws differ from those of the federal. And in this case, I don't believe they do. And I've talked at length with the Attorney General, and I've gotten several opinions. And I completely concur with Councilor Hoskin. There is a defined housing shortage, especially in northeastern Oklahoma, and I would. My concern is that the language in the paragraph gives the impression that we differ from those federal exemptions, and therefore I would decline to accept your friend.
Any other comments? Discussion? Okay, this is an act. Who made the motion? Ms. Henry.
I think parliamentary-wise, an amendment was offered by Councilman Hoskins, and although it was rejected as a friendly amendment, he still has the right to offer that amendment. If it receives a second, then you could debate that amendment itself, and you would take a vote on the amendment first before you would take a vote on the act as a whole. So it would be proper at this time, since the amendment was proposed and rejected as a friendly amendment, to ask Mr. Hoskins if he wishes to move this as an amendment to the act, and if it receives a second, you would proceed accordingly. Okay.
Thank you. That is good. Mr. Hoskins, did you want to move?
Madam Speaker, I do not move to amend.
Right. Okay. As the act has been amended, the friendly amendments, is everyone clear? Okay, roll call. It is an act.
Joe Crittenden?
No.
Jody Fishinghawk?
No, I abstain. I'm abstain. I have family involved in this.
She abstains.
Meredith Fraley?
Yes.
Janelle Fulbright?
Yes.
Don Garvin?
Yes.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.?
No.
Tanya Glory Jordan?
I abstain.
Curtis Snell?
Yes.
Chris Stokes,
No.
David Thornton,
No.
Carol Kine Watts,
Yes.
Bill England,
Yes.
Bill John Baker,
Abstain.
Jack Baker,
Yes.
Harley Buzzard, Julia Coates, Brad Cobb.
Yes.
Four nays.
10 yes, 4 no, and 3 abstentions. The motion carries. So the legislation does pass. Next is item 12, it's a resolution authorizing the development and submission of a 3-year plan. Mr. Baker.
Madam Speaker.
Yes.
This is a $9 million funding amount that we authorize career services. It's for career services and human services child care resource center, and there's no match required. And I move for its approval.
Second. Moved in second. Any discussion on this resolution, item 12? Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 13 is an act authorizing Mod 11 to the 2007 budget. Jack Baker.
Madam Speaker.
Yes.
This is Budget Mod 11, which was passed in committee, increases the budget by $2,079,294. It increases it such as $700,000 to the Constitutional Defense Fund. It has increases for Saline Courthouse and Tuskegee Courthouse improvements, as well as Salsal Creek Park for maintenance. It has Sequoia High School contract support funding, an increase from the self-governance of $170,000. And in addition, I would like to add an amendment that was not discussed in committee. And in committee, we took care of the $50,000, which also is in this, for graduate students for the higher education surplus funds. But I would also like to move that we allow the program to transfer an additional $50,000 to the vocational educational students. So this would increase the budget by an additional $50,000. So I move for its approval with the addition of the $50,000.
Second motion.
Okay. Been moved and seconded that we approve the Mod 11 with that amendment. Any discussion, Mr. Baker?
I'd like to offer a friendly amendment. It doesn't really change the budget amount, but it would be $500 out of my community assistance funds to go to the youth cultural camp run by Dana Tiger and her group, and that will clean up my community assistance.
Second motion.
I'll accept it.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion or amendments? This is an act, so roll call, please.
Curtis Snell,
Yes.
Tina Glory Jordan,
Yes.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.,
Yes.
Don Garvin,
Yes.
Janelle Fulbright,
Yes.
Meredith Fraley,
Yes.
Jody Fisher-Hunt,
Yes.
Joe Crittenden,
Yes.
Brad Cobb,
Yes.
Julia Coates,
Yes.
Harley Buzzard,
Yes.
Jack Baker,
Yes.
Bill John Baker,
Yes.
Bill England,
Yes.
Carol Kine Watts,
Yes.
David Thornton,
Yes.
Chris Stokes.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Okay, item 14, this legislation amends the tribal council standing committees. Jack Baker.
Yes, Madam Speaker. The purpose of this act is to consolidate the standing committees of the council in order to remove duplication of reporting and oversight. This act will consolidate the employment committee with executive and finance committee and combine the education committee with the language history committee. And by the way, in the packet that was given, it says that the employment committee will now report to the rules committee, and actually it's to the executive and finance committee. So I move for its approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
By acclamation.
Acclamation. Okay, Item 15 is a resolution for administrative supervision of legislative staff. Mr. Anglin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is the office of Speaker and Deputy Speaker are the most appropriate offices to deal with the operations of the legislative branch and be a central point of communication between the legislative branch and the other branches of the government. I move for its approval.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 16 is a resolution to elect the office of Secretary of the Tribal Council. Mr. Baker. Bill John.
This just pretty much lays out that the Secretary of the Council will be elected annually, and I put it in the form of a motion.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Does this not also nominate and appoint Don Garvin as Secretary as passed out of committee?
Yes.
Okay, and I didn't hear that in the motion.
You didn't say that.
I didn't say that. But I will.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor? Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Mr. Garvin, you are secretary for a
I
year.
have a very sharp pencil and I'm ready to go.
All right. Item 17 is a resolution electing the office of Speaker for the Tribal Council, Jack Baker.
Madam Speaker,
Yes.
it's my privilege to nominate you, Meredith Fraley, to continue as Speaker of the Council.
Second.
Moved in second. Please, no discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. I consider this quite an honor and responsibility, and I will strive to maintain your confidence and earn your respect. Okay. Item 18 is a resolution electing the office of Deputy Speaker. Councilman Anglin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's my privilege to nominate or suggest that we elect Council Lady Cherokee Watts to Deputy Speaker.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
No.
Okay, roll call, please.
Harley Buzzard,
Yes.
Julia Coates,
Yes.
Brad Cobb,
Yes.
Joe Crittenden,
No.
Jody Fishinghawk,
No.
Meredith Fraley,
Yes.
Janelle Fulbright,
Yes.
Don Garvin,
Yes.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.,
No.
Ivor Jordan,
No.
Curtis Snell,
Yes.
Chris Soap,
Yes.
David Thornton,
Yes.
Carol Cowan Watts,
Yes.
Bill Anglin,
Yes.
Bill John Baker,
Yes.
Jack Baker.
Yes.
Yay.
13 yea, 4 no. Congratulations, Ms. Cowan Watts.
Thank you. And I'll work hard to support you, and I'll work hard to make sure that all 17 council people are equal.
I'll be watching you.
That's right.
Item 19 is approval of the 2008 budget. Mr. Baker?
Madam Speaker.
Oh, Mr. Baker. Mr. Baker had his hand up first.
At this time, since we have not completely gone through the 08 budget, I would move that we recess this meeting until 5 p.m. on 9 and 12.
I'll second.
Moved in second. Any discussion on the recess? All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Meeting is recessed.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Mr. Carey would like to address the council now.
Oh, okay, fine. Congratulations,
Well-
Mr. Carey.
Thank you. This is way different than when I was a kid. We had an Indian agent that sat right over the Bank of America. And I want to thank the council and Chief Chad Smith and Joe Grayson for everything that, they honored me with. And I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, if I could indulge the council, we would like to see if the Secretary of State and Treasurer, excuse me, be sworn at this moment. I believe Justice Dowdy is here. So with your indulgence, could we do that in this body at this time?
Objections? Yes, not.
Yes.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Mr. Garvin?
We amend the agenda to do this swearing in. I'll make that motion to amend the agenda.
We've already recessed. We don't need an amendment, do we, Todd?
No, this is actually not an act of the council. You've done your act by approving the resolutions, so therefore no amendment would be necessary.
Take it to the traffic.
You're at the end.
All right, would you please repeat after me? I, and state your name,
I, Melanie Knight,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of Secretary of State of the Cherokee Nation
of Secretary of State of the Cherokee Nation,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the Cherokee Nation
the Constitution of the Cherokee Nation
and the United States of America.
and the United States of America.
I swear or affirm further
I swear or affirm further
that I will do everything within my power
that I will do everything within my power
to promote the culture, heritage, and traditions
to promote the culture, heritage, and traditions
of the Cherokee Nation.
of the Cherokee Nation.
Kelly, raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I, and state your name,
I, Callie Thatcher,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of Treasurer of the Cherokee Nation
of Treasurer of the Cherokee Nation
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and
the
defend
Constitution of the Cherokee Nation
the Constitution of the Cherokee Nation
and the United States of America.
and the United States of America.
I swear or affirm further
I swear or affirm further
that I will do everything within my power
that I will do everything within my power
to promote the culture, heritage, and traditions
to promote the culture, heritage, and traditions
of the Cherokee Nation.
of the Cherokee Nation.
Iki yo hu sati skino use tundu la hatini o telektani no giska tunis kwango tohti ko hiktaneha klest iki yo hu sela teleki unda nai teleki tota waska sanale tuni lawisti yuta lut sitani no gisko teleki gati.
Okay. All right, both of you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and state your names.
I, Sheriff Cal Watts,
I'm Meredith Brayley.
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
Do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties.
that I will faithfully execute the duties
and I will faithfully execute the duties
There's an echo in here. Speaker of the Council of the Cherokee Nation.
Speaker of the Council of the Cherokee Nation.
The Deputy Speaker of the Council of the Cherokee Nation.
And Deputy Speaker of the Council of Cherokee Nation.
And will to the best of my ability.
And will to the best of my ability.
And will to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the Cherokee Nation.
The Constitution of the Cherokee Nation.
And the United States of America.
And the United States of America.
I swear or affirm further.
I swear or affirm further.
I will do everything within my power.
That I will do everything within my power.
To promote the culture, heritage, and traditions.
To promote the culture, heritage, and traditions.
Of the Cherokee Nation.
Of the Cherokee Nation.
Now you got in unison.